Hey beautiful mamas, welcome back to Simply Living It. As you know, I am a stay-at-home homeschooling mom of 3 boys, ages 12, 10, and 7. We've been homeschooling our boys for 7 years now. So today's video is a collaboration video with so many other amazing homeschooling moms. You are needing some homeschool encouragement no matter where you're at in your journey, moms. If this is your first year, if you're just thinking about homeschooling, wherever you're at in your homeschool journey, I know there comes a point in time where we all can use a little bit of encouragement. So I'm excited to be part of this collaboration with my friend Joy. I will link her channel in the description box down below, as well as the playlist to all the other mamas who are doing this Homeschool Fails collab. There's going to be some awesome encouragement here, so I know it's something you guys definitely do not want to miss. When you finish up with my video here, I encourage you to click that link down below and check out the other mamas who are sharing their homeschool fails with you as well. I know everybody's going to have a different take on this. It's going to look different for every home, for every family, and every mom's perspective. So I'm excited to help support these other mamas and watch their videos as well, and also learn from them. Like, we are all learning from each other. Every year is new learning and new discoveries and new struggles. Like, every year brings something totally different. So I'm excited to learn from these mamas as well. I'm gonna go make my iced coffee really quick and come right back and dive into this homeschool fails video. As a homeschool mom, we all have expectations, right? We all have ideas in our mind when we very first started homeschooling of what this homeschooling journey was going to look like. So the idea of doing a homeschool fails collab, I think, is an awesome idea. But I do just want to tell you, I don't like to look at them as fails. I don't like that word. I don't like the word failure. I feel like every single thing that we are struggling with, everything we are working with in our homeschool, our ideas, our expectations versus the realities, I don't feel like those are failures. I feel like those are things that we are needing to adjust and learn and grow through as things change, as our homeschools change. So I just want to set that out there, that I don't feel like this needs to be a homeschool failure thing, more so lessons learned, you know, as a homeschool mom, things that we learn along the journey that aren't what we thought they would be or look differently. So I just wanted to get that out there. But the very first thing that I want to share with you in our home, in our homeschool journey, a homeschool fail would be recreating public school at home. So I've shared this with you guys so many times. I talk so much here on my channel about my mentality when I very first started homeschooling and what my mindset was of homeschooling, which was, we're going to recreate public school at home. That's what it needs to look like. I was public schooled. My husband was public schooled. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything outside of a classroom for 8 hours a day. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're trying to homeschool, it can definitely be a struggle. So when I say trying to create a public school system here at home, for me personally, it was a huge adjustment that I had to make in our homeschool. And it did not happen. It did not come easily, guys. This took quite a few years of tears and struggles to actually really fully embrace what homeschooling looked like. And I think now, finally, maybe 7 years in, I'm getting it. I feel like there's been a huge breakthrough. I have prayed and prayed so hard for this. And I feel like finally I'm letting go of the reins a little, trusting God in all of this, that He's got a plan, that they're going to be okay. My kids are going to be okay. I'm going to do the best that I can do here in their home. So that is one of the very first things that I would list. One of my top things that was a homeschool mom fail for me was thinking that was what homeschooling needed to look like. That homeschooling looked like public school. It was the same thing, except it was in our home instead of in a classroom. So the second homeschool fail that I have made in our home that I want to share with you moms is trying to make our homeschool look like everybody else's. Trying to follow somebody else's schedule that I've seen on Pinterest or that I follow on YouTube. Trying to follow somebody else's advice, somebody else's lead, and making it fit in our home instead of realizing and embracing that this is our journey. It is unique to our family. I don't need to follow somebody else's schedule. It's our family. This looks different for us than it's going to look for anybody else. And that's okay. That is totally the beauty of homeschooling, is that it's our own with our kids to mold and shape and teach and bring in whatever we want to bring in and let go of whatever we want to let go of. It was a big homeschool fail for me, thinking that ours needed to look like everybody else's. And that is from our schoolroom to our organization to the curriculum that we use. I just want to say with this, it was an important step in my homeschool journey because I was not homeschooled. I knew nothing about homeschooling. I knew nothing of what it would look like in our home. I knew nothing about it. I didn't reach out on YouTube and find different moms who were sharing things. I really, truly just researched curriculum, and that was what I researched. I wanted to know what I needed to use in my home for my children. I wanted to find out what fit in my home. And I think the problem was I was so wrapped up in curriculum instead of the freedom of homeschooling. And that's been a whole mental shift of its own over the last year and a half-ish. But I just want to remind you, there's nothing wrong with getting encouragement and taking tips from other homeschool moms and implementing different strategies in your home that you're hearing from other families. But the problem that I had was I thought that's exactly what it needed to be in our home. And if it wasn't, I was failing as a homeschooling mom. If I didn't get my kids up early in the morning and have morning chores and have breakfast made for them, pancakes and eggs and bacon every morning, and have this beautiful little homeschool room that was designated just for homeschooling. And then we had recess. And if I didn't have a homeschool planner that had everything planned out for our day and, all the posters on the wall, if I didn't have all that, I was failing as a homeschool mom. And that's simply not true. That is a full-blown lie. And that's not homeschooling. That's not what we do. That's not why we do it. So that was a huge homeschool fail for me, was thinking that my day with my children homeschooling needed to look like somebody else's. I was trying to shape and mold it to look just like other people's. And that was a huge fail. And I missed out on a lot because of that. But it was a learning process. And now I can truly embrace and accept the freedom of where we're at. So that falls right into my next homeschool mom failure. I think these all kind of engulf each other. The expectation versus the reality of homeschooling. My expectations, what I thought it would be, what I thought it would look like versus what it really is. And it's beautiful. It's hard. It is trying. It is rewarding. It is so many things, both hard and good, both beautiful and ugly some days. Reality, it is. Some days are just hard. Some days are hard and some days are absolutely beautiful. Some days are a struggle and some days we have the best time. It's so rewarding when your kids finally learn how to read. It's so rewarding when you're going through unit studies and your kids are grasping this and pulling out these random facts and things that they have learned during your time at home. So it is so many things. Homeschooling is everything. It's everything, both good and bad and hard. And like I said, it's everything. I had the expectation of public school at home. I had the expectation of perfection. I had the expectation of laying down what our school day would look like, and there would be no struggles. I thought this would be a breeze. I would be the teacher. They would sit and listen. It would be easy. Like this is going to be a good, fun thing. And we're going to paint and we're going to do arts and crafts every day. And that was my expectation. And I expected it to go just as planned. And the reality of it is it does not. And that it is all things. It doesn't just fit inside this box. It's everything. So a homeschool mom fail right there is expectation versus the reality. And I don't, again, I don't think that's a fail. I think that is, my eyes have finally been opened to the beauty and the freedom and the release and what learning is and what homeschooling is. It's not in a book. It's absolutely not just in a book. There's so much more to life and learning than a book. This is just my teacher's planner, but you get what I'm saying. There's so much more to life and learning and growing than a book. Coming from my experience, I could tell you this over and over and over again, but until you are ready and until you really truly grasp it, it's going to kind of go in one ear and out the other, because I read books about homeschooling. I've talked to moms who have older kids. I was struggling in the early stages of homeschooling. I reached out to homeschooling moms who had older kids and they gave me this advice. I didn't listen. I'm like, no, it can't be that way. I have to do this, 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 and this. It has to be this way. It doesn't. Now I'm that mom 7 years in saying, soak up the freedom. the beauty, all of it, because there is so much more to life than what they're learning in a book. And yes, we use books to learn. And yes, we watch TV shows and documentaries. And yes, we learn in nature, but homeschooling is all the things. Let's just say that right now. It's everything. It is absolutely everything. I absolutely feel like you have to go through these homeschool fails, if you will, in order to see the beauty on the other side of that mountain. Once you get over that hump, that's when you can truly embrace it, I feel. Homeschooling is such a personal journey for not only your children, but as a homeschooling mom. So I feel like some moms are ahead of the game. Some moms figure it out early on, and some moms it takes a few years. I was a mom that it took a few years, but I finally get it. And it's such a freeing feeling. So again, expectation versus reality. That was a huge homeschool fail for me, but a huge lesson for me as well. And that goes right into the homeschool fail of being all about curriculum. As you all know, I started out hardcore going into kindergarten with Abeka, and we did all of it. We did the flashcards, we had all the books, we had the cursive, we had all of it. And it was amazing. It got my kids right to where they are right now. It absolutely was a stepping stone that we used in our homeschool that I'm grateful for, because again, it was a lesson. When I see mamas that are homeschooling young kids and they are painting and they're going out in nature and they are exploring, they're doing all these fun things and learning through all these different avenues, it makes my heart so happy, because you guys, that is one of my biggest homeschool fails, I guess you will say. I did not soak up those early years in homeschooling as much as I wished I would have. This would be so much better if I had a straw. There was so much going on in our life when my oldest was in kindergarten, and I wish that I would have just paused and embraced that so much more. And these words are words I have had older women tell me about life when they had younger kids at home. And now I'm the one saying that. My oldest is 12. And you guys, I could have made those kindergarten years so much better than they were. Even first grade. Why? Why did I spend so much time worried about his books? I think by the time my middle child got to kindergarten, I'd kind of loosened up a little bit in that. And it was also more difficult anyway, because I had two that I was homeschooling now and a baby. So it was definitely, it looked different in our home. So now that I'm truly able to embrace so many things that I wasn't before, it's such a freeing feeling. And when I see young moms, new homeschoolers taking time to get out in nature and explore and learn through nature, to get in the dirt, to go on field trips, to have play dates. And yes, like I said, our books are important, but they're not everything. Our curriculum is not everything. There is no curriculum that I'm going to buy for our homeschool that is going to teach them about life. They're going to learn different things that they need to know. They're going to learn how to spell. They're going to learn how to do math problems. They're going to learn about history. But life, right? Those life skills, those life lessons, you only experience through living life. But at the same time, also thinking that if I purchase this curriculum, my kids will know everything. There won't be any gaps. I'm not going to need to supplement. Like, this is everything I need. Those are both homeschool fails and things that I had to go through on my own and learn and discover through our homeschooling journey that I can finally say now I get it. The last one that I want to touch on is schedule. A homeschool fail for me was a schedule. As with everything, as we have talked about before, everybody's homeschool schedules look different. Everybody's homeschool routines look different. Learning to embrace that freedom in homeschooling where we can be free, we can be flexible. If my boys have an opportunity to go fishing with their grandpa and their uncle, and we didn't get school done for the day, that's okay. It's not the end of the world because my boys did not get their lesson done today. What do I want them to know more? Whatever math lesson they're supposed to be learning for the day? Or do I want them to have memories with their grandpa, memories fishing, getting to bring food home for our family for dinner tonight? That is so much more important to me than anything they're ever going to learn out of a book. So yes, you didn't get school done today. That's okay. Go fishing. Go fishing with your grandpa and your uncle. Make memories. Go be boys. Go soak up that time that you have together. That's so much more important to me. My mentality before with that strict schedule would have been a nightmare. It would have thrown us back a whole nother day. Right now, we just go with the wind, right? We just, every day, whatever happens, happens. We just roll with it. And it's a beautiful thing. So being able to step away from the schedule, to be able to step away from your record keeping and your routine, Yes, have a routine, have a normal daily routine. But if something like a fishing trip comes up, or lunch with their grandma, or a play date, or whatever it might be, soak it up, embrace it, let those things happen, allow those things to happen, be free, because homeschooling is a freedom. I've shared that. Homeschooling is a freedom that we get. We get to homeschool our children. It is a huge blessing and a freedom. So totally soak it up, mamas. Soak up and embrace that freedom. We're all at different stages in our homeschool journey. It looks different for everybody. We all have different lessons we've learned along the way. When it comes to homeschooling, all of us moms do it totally different. Our days look totally different, but there is one thing we have in common, and that is we are home with our children, trying to give them the best education that we can. So learning where that line is and how to balance it and do it well, but still have that freedom and that flexibility to embrace and learn and grow in different ways outside of the books. And so that was a huge transformation for me. So these things that I have shared with you in this Homeschool Fails collab are things that might be unique to our home, but it's stuff that has truly changed how I view homeschooling and how things happen in our home. My hope is that you feel encouraged by this. If you are in the depths of homeschooling, we're just about to finish up with our homeschool year. Some of you haven't started yet. Some of you are going to begin homeschooling this next year. But my hope is that maybe we have something in common and can learn and grow together in these homeschool mom fails, in these lessons that we are learning through the journey of homeschooling, because we are all learning every single day in our homeschool. It never stops. It never stops for us moms. Every day is something different. We're learning something different, not just our kids, but about ourselves too. Thank you, moms, for joining me for this Homeschool Fails collab. Again, I encourage you to click on the link that I have included in the description box down below, because it is a link to the whole playlist where you can get all kinds of homeschool mom encouragement and learn from mistakes that we have made or lessons that we have learned from. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, mamas. I will see you next time. Bye.